Some stories don't announce themselves with explosions or screams. They begin quietly, so quietly that if you blink, you miss them. This is one of those stories. In the frozen north of Alaska, nearly a century ago, a town existed that no longer does. Not abandoned, not destroyed, simply gone. No warning, no survivors, and what unsettles historians most isn't how it vanished, but what it left behind. Angikuni Lake was never famous. It sat far from maps people cared about, surrounded by tundra and silence. For generations, an Inuit community lived there, families, hunters, elders, children. They survived brutal winters not through strength alone, but through rhythm, hunting, sharing, returning home before darkness swallowed the land. In 1930, a fur trapper approached the village expecting warmth and voices. Instead, he was met by silence so heavy it felt deliberate. Doors stood open, no footsteps in the snow, no smoke rising. He called out, but the sound died before it traveled far. Inside the homes, fires still burned. Pots sat over embers. Food rested on tables untouched. The village hadn't emptied slowly. It hadn't prepared to leave. Whatever happened, happened fast enough that no one grabbed a coat or a child. Outside, the trapper found the sled dogs, still chained, still waiting. They had starved where they stood, proof that no one returned, no one remembered them, and no one survived long enough to untie them. Then came the cemetery. Every grave had been opened, not dug carefully, disturbed, broken, empty. Whatever left the village didn't just take the living, it took the dead. Despite the chaos, there were no trails leading away, no signs of struggle, no blood. 2,000 people don't vanish quietly unless something prevents them from running. Authorities searched. They questioned nearby Inuit communities, but the answers stopped quickly. Elders refused to speak. Hunters looked away. Some stories, they said, were not meant to be repeated because repeating them invited attention. They had a name for what happened. Not a creature, not a storm, a condition. They called it the hunger. Not hunger of the body, but of something older, something that takes when it is noticed. Years passed. The land froze over its secrets. Then a pilot flew over Angikuni Lake and noticed something impossible. Lights beneath the ice, massive, moving, not reflections, not stars. As the pilot circled back, his instruments failed. His compass spun wildly, not for minutes, but days afterward. Something in that air refused direction. When investigators returned, they found nothing new. No lights, no movement, just ice. The lake had closed again, like an eye that didn't want to be seen. Locals say that in winter, when the ice thickens, you can hear something beneath it. Not cracking, not shifting. Voices, muted, distant, asking. Stories like this don't survive because they're exciting. They survive because they sit at the edge of what we understand, where logic ends and instinct begins. Across history, vanishings follow patterns. Isolation, silence, sudden absence. Sometimes the lesson isn't what took them, but how fragile certainty really is. Avalanches, migration, exposure. Each theory explains pieces, but never all of it. Fires don't wait. Graves don't empty themselves. The Inuit belief wasn't about monsters, it was about attention. Some things, once noticed, respond. This isn't a ghost story, it's a reminder. Humans are guests in harsh environments, and sometimes the land doesn't ask us to leave, it simply takes back what it lent. Some claim that on certain nights, cracks appear in the ice, not from pressure, but from beneath, as if something is testing the surface. Angikuni Lake still exists, frozen, quiet, waiting. And if you ever find yourself standing on winter ice listening too closely, remember this: sometimes the hardest thing to hear is silence answering back.